number 6. We're going to look at pattern tools today. So these allow you to easily take a shape, either 3D or 2D that you've already made, and repeat it. And you can either do it in a circle pattern or a rectangular pattern, and that's a really easy way of saving you lots of time with complex models. Anyway, so go and make yourself a part. I was struggling to think what to do for this, so we're going to try and make like a, I guess like a rocket engine or something. So yeah, anyway, we'll see how this thing goes. So start with a sketch, and let's just draw ourselves a circle. So I'm being a lot quicker than I was in the first videos. Let's make this circle, I don't know, drag it out, smart dimension, and let's make it 100. Nice and easy. Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to extrude that circle, feature, extrude, and let's make it, I don't know, 200 tool. Oh, not 200, let's do 250 tool. That'll do fine. Okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this like the kind of rocket end of a, well, of a rocket, which should have like kind of its own cylinders going around it. But I'm going to be a bit clever. I'm going to use the loft tool that you learned about last week to make those cylinders look a little bit more exotic. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm going to make a sketch on the bottom. And remember, if you want to look at a particular surface, you can right click and choose that guy, normal to. And I'm going to draw the bottom section of my rocket. So for that, I'm going to draw circle tool. I'm going to put it on the top edge. And smart dimension, let's go 30, 35. That'll do. Okay, done with that. So I click the tick, click this to go back. Now, if you remember how lofting works from last week, you're going to need another circle at the top, and you're going to join up between the two, but we're going to make this one smaller. So I'm now going to make a sketch. Oh, sorry, what's happened there? Sketch, circle, and before I start drawing my circle, I'm going to right. Sorry, I'm just going to press escape, completely stuff that up. I'm going to right click on here and choose normal to, then make sure I'm in sketch mode. I'm going to draw a smaller circle just above this one, but we want to make it smaller, so something like that. Smart dimension, why not make it 15? Okay, happy days. All right, tick and click that. So we're back at the mode where we've got our two circles, one at the top, one at the bottom. We're now going to loft them together. So that's under the feature menu, loft, and then you pick the two parts. So we want that guy and we want that guy. There we go. So we've done sort of one rib of our rocket engine. Click the tick. Happy. Okay, what I'm also going to do is put a little fillet on the top of that just to make it look a bit nicer. So I'm going to go to the fillet tool and just click that tiny circle at the top. And it doesn't like a 10mm fillet, so let's try a 3. Can handle a 3, can it handle a 5? Yeah, probably get away with a 6, just about good. Basically, remember, if it doesn't draw it in orange, it won't repeat. Okay, now for the magic part, we're going to use the pattern tool. Now, the pattern tool does actually exist within sketch mode, so if you'd have drawn a circle, you could actually pattern a circle sketch and then extrude each of them individually. But pattern tools also exist in 3D mode as well, and they're over here under this menu. Now we're actually going to start with a circular pattern, so you're going to need to click that tiny little arrow and choose circular pattern. And by the way, did you spot, sorry if I just go back, did you spot there's a whole bunch of other tools sitting in here? You can mirror stuff, you can actually pattern stuff along a curve, so you could draw yourself a random path and then repeat this shape along them. I'm not going to go into all of them in this video, but there are lots and lots of cool pattern tools, but the most common ones are these. Circular pattern's one we want now, so choose that. And it's saying, right, what direction do you want? So you just need to pick something circular that you're going to spin these around. So pick the top of your object, and now it's saying, right, down here in this box, what features do you want? At the moment, it's got fillet 1 chosen, so it's actually only going to pattern this top bit. We also want to pattern this. You can do that two ways. You can either select it by clicking it directly and it's added loft 1 to it, look. Or if you can't quite click the object you want to pattern, you can always expand your arrow here and actually click on the thing there. Okay, so we've got that. However, at the moment it doesn't look right. There's only 15 degrees apart. You could go 30 degrees, for instance, and then 45. You could mess around trying to do it this way, and you can see what it's doing. It's adding two of them, so we've got the original and a second one. If you put 3 in that box, you get 3 of them 45 degrees apart. If you want to do it a bit simpler, because you're going around a whole circle, you can also click the equal spacing one, and what that will do is it will do the maths for you. It assumes 360 degrees. You just tell it how many of them you want. In this case, I'm going to go with 6 rocket engines, and click the tick. Now, wasn't that easy? Awesome. Okay. Now, yeah, I guess it sort of looks like a rocket engine, maybe a little bit. Now, I'm looking at that and thinking, these rockets aren't big enough on the bottom. I want to make them bigger. Have I got to do it all again? Well, no, you don't. All you need to do is go and find the original thing that you took your circular pattern from. So that would be this loft. And if you open up the loft and find the sketches you drew, there's sketch 2, there's sketch 3. Say you wanted to make the bottom sketch bigger, you just right click on it and choose the edit sketch icon up there. Now, if you put dimensions on it, it's just a case of changing that dimension. So let's whack this up to 55. Okay. Good. So click the arrow on the dimension tool, or sorry, the tick to say you're done with the dimension tool. Then click this back arrow, and then ta-da, they all update. And that's the beauty of doing it. So if you get in the habit of patterning stuff, you actually save yourself a whole bunch of time because you only need to go and edit the original. All right, for the final bit, we're going to make a rectangular pattern on the top, and I'm going to start by making a sketch. So I'm going to make a sketch on here, and I want to right click and look at that. Then I'm going to draw myself just a rectangle, and I'm going to draw it so it's joined to the circle. So I'm going to make sure it's stuck on that dot and stuck on that dot. Okay, and then because I want it centered, so I'm just going to press escape. I'm going to pick that dot. I'm going to hold down Control, and I'm going to pick the circle edge. And then I'm going to choose coincident. You'll see what that's done. It's snapped the circle to it. And now because we've got 3 points of a rectangle snapped to a circle, this one's already snapped to it by default. Okay, so I just wanted to centralize that. That's fine. Going to feature extrude that. I don't know, 10. I don't really know what I'm making here. It's starting to look a bit like a firework. Maybe if you wanted to 3D print your own firework. But I'm just doing it to illustrate how the rectangular pattern works. So I'm now going to make a new sketch on here, on the rectangle I just made, and I'm going to draw a circle. So say I wanted to make holes for air to flow through, or like a speaker grill, like lots and lots of holes patterned. I'm just going to make the one. That's fine, and I'm not even going to bother with the size of it because I just want to press through the video. So done with my circle, click the tick, click go back. But what I do want to do is I want to make that circle a hole. So that's going to be feature extruded cut. Okay, I'm just going to cut 10 millimeters. That's fine. So I've got one hole. Good. Right, and now we're going to learn how to pattern that hole to fill out this whole thing with circles without having to make loads and loads of individual ones. So this time we're going to choose linear pattern. And for direction 1, basically you can actually pattern like in an x-axis and a y-axis. So direction 1, I'm going to just pick an edge going horizontally. And it wants to know down here what features we want. So I'm going to click in the feature box and just click on my hole. There we go. And again, it wants to know the spacing and how many of them in direction 1. So let's go 5 of them. Just click on the screen to draw that. I'm going to space them a bit further apart. Let's do 12. It's a little bit too much. Let's do 11. Right, you can play around till you get it in the middle. About 11.5 looks about right for mine, but it will depend how big you drew your circle. And that's great. But if I want circles going this way as well, that's where direction 2 comes into play. So go into the direction 2 box and then click a line going in the opposite direction. So that one. Okay. And sorry, let's just have a look. There we go. And oh, it's because I've only got 1 in the box, so I was just wondering why I wasn't drawing it. So I've only asked for 1. If I put 5, for instance, there we go, great. Now we've got a slight problem here. We got 5, but they're all going the wrong direction. To change that, you simply click this little arrow here, okay? Likewise, on the previous one, you could do that if they were pointing in the wrong direction. Okay, so I'm going to click that and that. I want to space these ones a bit further apart. Let's go to 11.5 again. And I reckon there's room for one more row in there, so I'm going to go for 6. There we go. Bosh. Click the tick when you're done. And there you go. Nice, easy way of making a pattern. Now remember, I've just taught you the basics. You can literally pattern anything you've made. So if you'd done some really weird curvy shaped hole here, or you'd written text and extruded it, you could pattern and do that. You can apply these methods to anything. Okay, right, final thing we're going to do, I'm just going to show you the mirror tool, just because we might as well while we're here. We're going to mirror the whole thing, and then it will end up looking like nothing at all. I don't know what we've created, but it's a learning experience. So let's go here to mirror. Now it's saying, what is the mirror face or plane? Now, you can choose like a work plane in midair if you've made one, or you can actually pick a plane on the object. So I'm just going to choose the back of this guy. And then it's going, right, what features do you want to mirror? Now, this is where it gets, you can just click on them individually, right? So that would just mirror the lofts, and this would mirror the cylinder. But this is where it becomes easier to go through your, expand your little arrow here, and just choose everything that you've made, because we want to mirror the whole thing. So I'm just holding Control and making sure all of those guys are highlighted and appear in my list. Click the tick. That should, ta-da, there we go, make a perfect mirror image of what we've made. All right, so 3 different lessons there, 3 different things to build. In terms of your proof, and I should have said this at the start of the video, well, actually, do you know what? If you've made the whole thing, that's good enough. Just show me at least 2 pictures of it so I can see that both sides have got the same repeating patterns. Okay, and beyond that, have a play yourself, see what you can make.